Wow, George's treatment is something else, huh? I'm fairly new to the show. Shout out to the pit for the intro. And I'm just finishing up Season 1, Episode 9. Honestly, I'm still reeling from how George is treated by the rest of the group, especially the women. There's this constant infantilization and lack of basic respect that is downright unsettling at times. Now, maybe I'm reading this completely wrong, but I felt like it needed to be said. Let's talk about Izzy, for example. She walks around in her underwear in front of George like it's no big deal, but not because they're super close or anything. No, it's because she doesn't see him as a threat. She thinks he's safe or something. And don't even get me started on the syphilis shot scene. They make Alex give him a shot in the butt in front of the whole group, and everyone laughs like it's the funniest thing in the world. Imagine if the roles were reversed for a second. Can you imagine the chaos? Then they joke, "I think he's gonna cry," and keep laughing. That's some grade school bullying right there, but somehow it's played for laughs. It's like George is the group's emotional support pet. There for them when they need someone to unload their feelings on, but with no respect for his boundaries. And all of this is treated as comedic gold. He's sweet, awkward, and clearly trying to do his best. But instead of being treated as an equal, he's constantly the punchline. Look, I get that this show came out in 2005, and TV writing was definitely a different beast back then. But man, this dynamic feels a lot more glaring in hindsight. Anyone else notice this? Does it ever get better as the show goes on? Because right now, I'm just waiting for George to finally stand up for himself. It's getting a little sad. Side note, George's character seems to be one that fans love to hate. But honestly, I don't get it. For me, George has always been the real underdog. Sure, he's made some choices that have left me questioning him, and maybe even annoyed me at times. But he also has some of the most heartwarming and thought-provoking storylines. You get to watch him grow, and I think that's something special. But yeah, part of the reason George is so much of an underdog is because of the era the show came out in. Back in 2005, the other characters were walking, talking cliches, the hot girl, Izzy, the brooding guy from the wrong side of the tracks, Alex, the Nepo baby, Meredith, the hard-headed one, Christina. And then there was George, who was the dork by comparison. It's like George is walking around as the sad puppy of the group, constantly pining after Meredith, who clearly isn't interested. Rather than moving on, he just mopes around, and because of it, he gets infantilized. He makes some questionable decisions, like the whole tampon debacle. And the fact that he's a doctor but still acts like a child doesn't exactly help his case. But hey, you're spot on. George deserves more credit. He's in the same position as everyone else, but is treated like the group's underling. It's frustrating to watch. I totally agree with parts of this, but I also see it a bit differently. Take the Izzy underwear thing. How is being considered safe and a non-threat a negative? I mean, he lives in a house with 2 women, and if they want to wear what they'd wear at the beach in their own home, that's their choice. Of course, George should feel comfortable too, but let's not forget, he chose to live with them. He put himself in that situation. That said, I do agree with the fact that George is treated like the group's entertainment/puppy. But let's be real, his sheltered upbringing and lack of life experience are pretty glaring compared to the others. It's not his fault, but it does make him come across as immature. His behavior, like the tampon incident, if you haven't seen that part yet, just adds fuel to the fire. At the end of the day, George often acts like a prepubescent teenager, so it's no surprise people treat him that way. First-time watcher here, and I really hate Karev. Honestly, I can't stand any of the men on this show, but he truly takes the crown for worst. I don't get what Izzy sees in him, especially after how he treated her. I'm currently on Season 2, Episode 23, where Addison is helping a woman tie her tubes. What a great way to phrase that, right? And Karev is out here making sexist comments to the woman's husband. It's honestly baffling how he just keeps getting worse. No spoilers, please, I'm begging you. But seriously, Izzy chasing him around makes absolutely no sense. He publicly sexually harassed her, humiliated her for her past, and literally shamed her for coming from a trailer park. When they tried dating, he couldn't perform with her, literally, but then went straight into bed with another woman. And every time I watch Izzy chasing after him, I just think, girl, you're gorgeous. Go find someone who actually values you and isn't a walking, talking dumpster fire. You don't need this man-child who sleeps around, judges you, and tries to tear you down. I know there are Karev stans out there who love talking about his character development and how he changed so much in later seasons. But honestly, not buying it. Sure, he's a decent doctor most of the time, and sometimes a decent friend. But he's still the same arrogant jerk at his core. Any growth he shows is always situational and temporary. He could easily slip back into the dash-a-bag he was in seasons 1 and 2 at any given moment. And yes, I've seen people who did end up liking him later on, citing his character development as some kind of redemption. But let's be real, he's just not my guy. His exit from the show? Absolutely ridiculous. It's like they just handed him a plotline and said, go out with a bang. But whatever, to each their own. Ah, the Cali and Arizona custody battle, the ultimate drama fest. Before I watched season 12, I was all in on Team Cali, thinking that Arizona getting custody was completely unfair. But then, after watching it, well, it turns out Arizona definitely deserves it. I mean, seriously, Cali moving across the country for a woman she's been dating for, what a year, and expecting Arizona to just be fine with occasional visits? Absolutely ridiculous. I've always had my issues with Arizona, how she treated Cali especially, but now Cali is the one who's being completely unreasonable. So yeah, I'm officially Team Arizona for the custody battle, and honestly, I'm still pretty bitter about Cali's choices here. As for the rest of the show, I totally get why some people checked out. Like, who could blame them? For those who fell off the wagon, when did you bail? I stopped after the DeLuca mess. If you know, you know. No spoilers, but yeah, that was it for me. I also know plenty of people who couldn't go on after season 10. Personally, I threw in the towel after Derek's death. I was already losing interest in season 11, but when Derek got killed off like that, it was like the final blow. I pushed through the last episodes of season 11, maybe watched a couple of early season 12 episodes, but eventually, I had to call it quits. The last one I remember watching live, the one with Penny at dinner. After that, I don't even remember what happened next. Teddy's a walking contradiction, isn't she? She wanted to open up the marriage because she had a little crush on Cass. But the minute Owen does the one thing they both agreed to, suddenly, she's furious. Does she even know what she wants? It's like she's just throwing out demands and hoping something sticks. She keeps asking herself if she wants to be someone's first choice, but the truth is, who's ever chosen her first? Owen's played musical chairs with women, Henry was more about business than romance, Mark was juggling multiple affairs, Andrew Perkins was too busy saving everyone else to even notice her, and let's not even get started on Allison, she's stuck with Claire. So is it any wonder Teddy's still looking for someone who sees her as a priority? What Teddy really wants is simple, to be seen. She wants to be someone's number one, to feel like she matters, and to be cared for as a complete person, not just someone who's there when it's convenient. But here's the thing, when a show's been running this long, logic takes a backseat. We're in it for the drama, not the sense, and Teddy's storyline is the perfect example of that. After all this time, you'd think she and Owen would at least be on the same page about their relationship. But no, they're still stuck in the same loop of miscommunication, all for the sake of keeping things interesting. Because let's face it, without drama, what else would a TV show have to offer? Ah, season 12, the golden age of who can Riggs piss off the most. Honestly, it's the most fun I've had with this show in ages. Riggs starts off as this super nice guy, and then Owen's literally one hello away from punching him in the face. Why? Because Riggs exists, and Owen's just so done with him. It's the kind of drama I didn't know I needed until it was dragged out over multiple episodes. And don't even get me started on the theories. We got gems like Nathan and April had a secret affair in Jordan. Somehow, Owen is mad about it, even though that's like the least shocking thing in the world. Oh, and Nathan and Owen had a little fling during their military days, according to Arizona, because why wouldn't she just casually spill that tea? Oh, and then there's the fact Nathan might have had a thing with Owen's mom. Classic. Or Nathan's Owen's secret half-brother. No big deal, Meredith. Just another day in the Grey's world. So yeah, what I'm getting at here is that I want someone to have a nemesis. Not some deep, soul-searching drama, just pure, unadulterated hatred that makes it fun to watch. Maybe an academic rival from med school? Someone to bring the professional friction without the endless emotional trauma. Because let's face it, the relationship drama has been done to death, and it's starting to feel like the show's just recycling the same storylines. Remember Stark irritating Alex in Season 6? Now that was the kind of rivalry we need. No messy love triangles, just pure, I hate you, but I have to deal with you. And seriously, bring back Shadow Shepherd as a Catherine Fox winner. He wasn't messing around. He just did good work, kept to himself, and wasn't trying to steal everyone's spotlight. Can we just get a character who isn't unrealistically successful, please? Maybe Link, but he's got enough drama with Joe. Honestly, Winston could work. He could be a lot like Owen, but actually trying to keep it professional while secretly wanting to throw a punch. It would be so much fun to watch. Owen at the start. Okay, so I'm watching Grey's again, and I actually like Owen at the beginning. I know, people loathe him. I definitely wasn't a fan either the first time around. But now that I'm rewatching, and I'm on Season 5, Episode 15, I've got to say, he's kind of growing on me. Yeah, sure, he shows up drunk at Christina's place, and I mean, not exactly a great look, but honestly, considering everything he's been through, it feels pretty real. I can see where he's coming from, even if it's a mess. His struggle is palpable, and I'm kind of digging his character right now. But of course, I can't remember when it all starts spiraling downhill. I guess I'll find out, eventually. But for now, Owen, you've got my attention. S8 spoilers, Henry's death. Now, about that one episode with Teddy's husband, Henry. What was that? So Henry's in surgery, Yang's performing it, and then Teddy's stuck in another surgery. So they just lie to her for hours about whether he made it out okay. And then she finds out he died, and she rushes to the OR, where his body is still lying under a sheet like it's just another Tuesday at the office. And there's some random person doing paperwork by his body, like it's no big deal. Now, I get it. It's a TV show, and they needed the drama for the scene. But come on, in real life, you really think they'd leave a dead body in the OR for hours? I mean, they would have moved that body to the morgue immediately. No way they'd just leave it there for the sake of a dramatic reveal. That whole thing was purely for plot, no question. I totally get your frustration with that scene. Arizona stepping in and telling Jackson about April's pregnancy was definitely a big breach of boundaries. April was clearly struggling with how and when to share such big news, and Arizona jumping in like that was pretty inappropriate. It really should have been April's choice to tell Jackson in her own time, and Arizona's interference made things even more complicated. It was like Arizona wasn't respecting April's autonomy, and that definitely didn't sit right with a lot of fans. It's surprising that April forgave Arizona so quickly too. Given how personal and intense that moment was, it felt like a bigger deal than it was made out to be. What do you think would have been a better way for Arizona to handle that situation? Jules and Winston. Honestly, I can't decide if I'm losing my mind or if there's actually something more going on here. They might just stick to being professional, but the way they're writing it, or, the way it's being acted, there's definitely a vibe. I mean, the long, lingering glances every time they cross paths. There's some serious tension in those scenes. Remember last season when Winston was being a jerk? Spoiler, guess what? That friction is coming back soon, thanks to a case they're working on. Oh, and in the promo for this week, Jules is helping Winston during that little window accident. And let's not forget, he's one of the few attending docs who actually seems interested in her personal life. Convenient, right? I'm wondering if it's just the writers dropping hints that their dynamic might go beyond mentor/mentee, maybe even to a friendship. Because, let's be real, they both need someone to talk to on the show. I thought Quan might fill that role for Jules, but it looks like they've totally forgotten about that. Surprise, surprise. Could it be something more? Sure, it could be. After all, this is Grey's Anatomy we're talking about, and there have been plenty of signs. But honestly, I'm more into the idea of them being friends than anything romantic. What I really want is more of those Winston and Beltran buddy moments. That little scene at the bar where Jules asked Beltran to teach her something. Now that had me hooked. They definitely have chemistry, that's undeniable. But is it just the actors doing their thing, or is it intentional? And if it is intentional, is it going to lead to romance? Maybe. But it could just be the foundation for a solid friendship too. They both need to build relationships with other characters, and guess what? They work really well together, platonic or otherwise.